young people of this community. Royce is a tremendous coach and leader of young people. And he's investing himself today in the lives of young teenagers who look up to him as a master model. He has great athletic skills, as you know, and he's sharing those with young people. He doesn't brag about it. I am proud of him as his friend and his co-worker here at Free People Radio to see him take his time and invest himself wholeheartedly in the lives of other people. In other words, he's loving his neighbor. He's loving his neighbor's children. He's building a better future for us here in Minnesota and throughout the country. Yes, Royce is a candidate again for U.S. Senate. It'll be his second trip into that ring. We're going to do better this time. The pundits here in Minnesota, the people who we found out this past week, well, that'd be the Minnesota Republican Party, who actually hired a media consultant who was the former deputy chair of the party and was a supporter of Harris Waltz in the last cycle. The party itself hired this, well, kind of skullduggerous media mouse, so to speak. They hired him to trash Royce in the last cycle. It hurt. But now we're ready. The people of Minnesota are ready. The citizens are coming into the game. And I want to say up front, please, and I'm going to say this several times through today's broadcast, please, what a great audience you are. And thank you for following the Royce White Show and be a member of the Real America's Voice community. But right now, at this moment in history, similar to what it was in 1776 and 1861, the citizens themselves, we are the cavalry that's going to come to rescue us. We can depend on no one, as we're going to talk about today, this morning. We have a leader of the party, President Donald J. Trump. We're going to see Donald Trump's greatest skill this next couple of weeks. Donald Trump is the great unmasker. Donald Trump can take a long-hidden secret and reveal it. For example, in 2016, he revealed to you and I that our media was an enemy of the people. I'm talking about the traditional legacy mainstream media. They were controlling the narrative, and he revealed that to us. We saw it. In 2018, he took the smiles that are on the faces of the Chinese diplomats that visit here since, President Nixon, and he turned those smiles into frowns, and he revealed for all of us that we are in a strategic competition with an existential threat to our way of life. That'd be China. Now, this next week, we're going to start to see him unmask the rhinos. We know the rhinos are there. You watch this show, you are completely aware that the Republican Party is filled with Democrats. You know it. But President Trump is going to smoke these people out, and we got to do our part and get into the party and be part of the endorsement process, the primary process, and we got to turf these rhinos out, or this agenda is not going to make it. So what is the agenda? What is going on here and now? Well, President Trump is bringing an end to what is affectionately called by George Bush the Senior, the New World Order. The New World Order, also known as, AKA, the post-World War II Democrat liberal order. And for the Republicans in my party here in Minnesota that don't like President Trump, and that's about half of you, and you're not hiding from me, you really are not supporting Republicanism. You're actually an aficionado of the post-World War II Democrat liberal order, which stands on international one world economy. One world economy These people are smart, and they figured out that if they got everybody hooked on one world economy, well, really, to regulate that, you got one world government. One world government. And for those of us that are freaked out about what's happening in our 401ks this week, I'm going to remind you, if you got one, I salute you. But I think Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent said this week that 11% of the population own 80% of the stocks. I don't own any stocks. Do you own any stocks? Do you have the index? I don't. I do not. So I watch with some amusement that the success or failure of our economy is judged by the success or failure of the stock market. These two things are not necessarily so correlated. Secretary Rubio said this week that markets were reacting, but that the economy itself was sound. Now, our leadership has to be very careful, and I don't, because I am a pundit here on Real America's Voice this morning as a guest host on this great Royce White show. They can't tell us the truth completely, and I don't blame them because the truth is not pretty. The truth is, since about 2000 and Bush, we've been racking up a debt that's become intergalactic. It's $37 trillion. The interest on that debt now exceeds the spend on our military. President Trump knows this, and he told us he is taking corrective action, and that's what these tariffs are. They're corrective action. We've been draining money out of this country. Me too, you too. We've been getting poorer and poorer for decades. Doing what? Funding an endless war of discretion all over the world, not a war of necessity, but a war of discretion, which has drained trillions, trade deficits, budget deficits, and now DOGE is showing us that they're just robbing and stealing as if there is no tomorrow. And that's my case in segment one. I do not think any of this is an accident. I think these people are doing it on purpose. And when I say these people, we know who they are. You know who they are. These rhinos in the party, the uni party, bipartisanship, they're just representing, they're on the payroll of the people that really run the system. And the system is run on what? Debt. 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 You got it. I got it. We all got it. Debt. Debt, drugs, and piracy. That's the business model of the post-World War II Democrat liberal order. Yes, debt, well, debt slavery. Slavery, drugs, and piracy. That's that old colonial model. We don't have to necessarily have chattel slavery. Let's just get everybody hooked up to debt. Let's get them all hooked on drugs, both legal and illegal. And then let's just wage war and take people's things away from them all over the world. And that's what bankers need. They need a forever and ongoing war to run up this debt, which keeps you and I a slave. And what is President Trump doing? He's taken this ugly system apart brick by brick. He knows exactly what he's doing. And for the people like my friend Rob that got in touch with me this morning and goes, what's going on? You got to understand the system at an international level and understand all the ways its tentacles are into our society, into our culture, to take us from a Republican form of government, which is guaranteed to all of us in our Constitution, republicanism, to this crazy post-World War II Democrat, progressive, Marxist, communist order that they're giving us today as the future for the American people. President Trump is smashing that system. He's smashing it systematically, and we're going to talk about it this morning, and I really am excited to be here to do so. Yes, President Trump has a plan. That plan is very well thought through, and what he's done this past week is change the World Trade Organization's rules. Change it to American rules, American-centric rules, trade that benefits we the people, trade that pays down the debt, trade that encourages the onshoring of jobs and the restoration of this great republic. We'll be right back.
Guys, if you plan to retire in the next 20 years, Or if you've already retired, I have a message for you that you need to hear. Central banks, BRIC nations, and our allies are pumping trillions of dollars back into America. But every dollar they send could make your savings worth less. Hi, I'm Donald Trump Jr., and I just want you to be prepared for the future. So protect your hard-earned savings with gold. A gold IRA from my trusted friends at the Birch Gold Group offers you the safety net of gold with the tax advantage status of a retirement account. To see how it's done, click the link below to get a free info kit on gold IRAs. This kit reveals why gold IRAs are exploding in popularity, so do it now. What do you have to lose? It's free and there's no obligation. Click the link below to get your free info kit from the Birch Gold Group.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 what?
The 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54 and was a smoker, but quit. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65, retired, and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80 and I'm on a fixed income. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. You cannot be turned down because of your health. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. Options start at $9.95 a month. Plus, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction to your loved ones with your final wishes. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-538-4499 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-538-4499. There's no risk or obligation. That's 1-800-538-4499. Call now.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice this Saturday morning. I hope you're well. We're talking about trade and tariffs and tribulations today. Trade, tariff, and tribulations. I want to share with you a clip and speak over it, and we'll show you the system of globalization that President Trump is altering. If we could play this first clip, this scene that you're seeing is what globalization really is. Those little dots on the water, those are container ships, tanker ships, commodity ships carrying products all over this world. Yes, look at the size and scope of this system, which dates back 500 years. It is a remarkable accomplishment, and this is actually the real economy. The stock market is a financialized monstrosity of digitized deception. These boats are carrying real goods from China, from Southeast Asia, and these boats go all over the world and bring you and I the products we need to live our lives. Now, these products used to all be built here in the United States of America. They are no longer. And President Trump is trying to address that, and we all know that. But I do want to say the blaming of President Trump for the stock market declines this week is a little bit disingenuous. It's a little disingenuous. The world, in the history thereof, has never had a sovereign debt paid back that exceeded 100% of the GDP of that country. Let me give you a blast about what's going on here. Today, the world GDP is something like about $100 trillion. The debt is 333% of world GDP. The top 15 debtor countries hold 30% of that debt. In other words, the system runs on debt, not on wealth, not on well-being, but on slavery, debt slavery, drugs, and piracy, which is that endless war. That's the business model of the post-World War II Democrat liberal order. And President Trump knows this is a very unwell business model for you and for me to live our lives and for the lives of our children. He's changing it. He's changing it so systematically, so carefully, so intelligently. But of course, if you don't have that experience in trade, that experience in how this system works, it seems rather arbitrary and capricious. You know, I'm in the tire business. Those of you who follow me know that we have a Free People Radio benefit for our viewers and listeners. It's called TireGet.com. TireGet.com, we can mount and balance tires any place in this country right by your house. And if you like the content on Free People Radio, you can support us by buying tires from us. It's cool. But the point is, I've been in the tire business for decades. And when I started in the tire business, and I'll date myself, that'd be in the 1970s, 100% of the tires that were consumed in this country were manufactured in this country. Interesting, isn't it? And I started right about the time St. Reagan rolled into the White House in 1981. That's when I opened my first business. I've been self-employed and self-governing my entire life. Boy, I'll tell you what happened. I was a young man. I was involved in international trade when I was 27 years old because the government came to me and said, go forth, young man, and spread America, spread our way of life, spread capitalism throughout the world. So I was buying tires out of Korea in the 80s. I was in China in 1993, and I thought they were our friends. And I was told by my government to spread out this cash. And, you know, I was young. I didn't have time to think about it. Let me tell you, I'm a reformed globalist. I participated in this system, and I know it well. And what happened over the course of my career in the tire business? Well, when you go to TireGet.com, only 25% of the consumer tires that go on your vehicle are actually manufactured here in this country. 25%. We've exported 75% of the production and all those jobs offshore. That was not an accident. That was government policy. That was banking policy. And why? Why did they do that? Well, you know, if you're a bank, do you really want to deal with the union people? How about equipment and machinery and all those problems and all those strikes and all those pesky Americans that have self-governing ideas like they want to get a piece of the action? No, that was too complicated. The production was offshored to China and now to Vietnam and Cambodia and Thailand and Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, all these Asian countries, because the workers there work at comparative slave wages. And those workers are compliant and they do not strike. So what did we do? We financialized our economy in 1971, and the banks and Wall Street wanted the marketing, the intellectual property, the distribution, the finance, but they didn't want to mess with the production. And that has led to the export of all these jobs. Now, President Trump puts on these tariffs and look to you and cry. Look at how they focus us on materialism. Materialism. Is your freedom reduced to the price of something you buy at Walmart? Is that what you're worth to yourself? Because not for me. Not for me. I sat there, as you did last week on Liberation Day. I really expected President Trump to roll out between 5 and 10% taxes. And in fact, they had signaled that because I watched this stuff like a hawk. And if you want to know what a hawk I am about it, come on over to YouTube and follow me at the Professor Penn Podcast, or follow me on X at Prof Penn Podcast. We're working on this every single day. We are not into this, like most of these pundits, to fill a bag and walk out with the cash. We're into this here at Free People Radio. That'd be our leader, Royce White, and myself, David Penn, your host. We're into this to restore republicanism here in Minnesota and in our great land. Yes, that's why we're doing it. And I sat there and I watched just like you did. And when President Trump, 46% Vietnam, 49% Cambodia, 36% Thailand, 30% Pakistan, 31% Serbia, I was like, wow. My mind was blown, because I'm going to tell you, we are in the tire business at Target, and we have to import tires. We don't want to, but if we don't import, we're out of business. And I thought to myself, what is this going to mean? And I had said on my podcast earlier in the week, if I have to go bankrupt and go out of business so that my children are free, because I was raised in a now decrepit and defective and defunct business model called the post-World War II Democrat liberal order. Yes, Republicans, if you're watching me and you really secretly, well, of course, here we are in Real America's Voice. So we all support President Trump here, don't we? But in your state, in your party, aren't there a lot of Republicans running around with red MAGA hats on that secretly are waiting for the chance to stab Donald Trump in the back? Brutus? Is that not where we're at today? Do we not have a divided party? And what's going to bring out this divide? Well, war, that's one. We saw that with the Ukraine. But now this trade deal, the hue and cry against these tariffs, when in reality, all these governments are dependent on you and me. Vietnam, for example, I've been there many times. 1/3 of their gross domestic product, 1/3, fully 33% of their output is exported to the United States. And I have to tell you, just so you know, there's a couple of Vietnamese-owned companies doing that, but it's mostly Chinese-owned companies that have come down out of China and into Vietnam, into Thailand, into Cambodia, into Indonesia, to do what? To avoid taxes that have been previously placed upon China to limit their supply to the United States. See, we have this organization, it's called the World Trade Organization. It's the most powerful organization in the world. It's more powerful than the United Nations, because at the United Nations, they do a lot of jaw-jacking and a lot of planning, but the implementation of those plans happens through the World Trade Organization. That's where countries have aggregated to set up what's called the rules-based order. And it worked great for the United States for a long time. We ran a trade surplus from 1946 to 1976. But right about the time President Reagan decided to export democracy and our capitalist way of life, right about then, that's when we started hemorrhaging these jobs. And it increased and intensified, particularly when China entered the game. Now, as President Trump says, let us not blame the Chinese. They're making the most for their people. It was our leadership, and I was part of this. I watched it. I watched the game. I played the game. I don't have to listen to pundits that are reading about it in the book. I'm in the ring. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Chinese have done a great job lifting their people out of poverty, done a great job organizing their country, while our leadership allowed it, fostered it, supported it, and financed it. And President Trump has been looking at this for decades going, hey, what about the people that live in Ohio, Indiana? What about those people that are getting sold out? And these tariffs are his strategy so that every American citizen can get in on the benefits of international trade. Not just the Wall Streeters, not just the bankers, but wherever you are now, these tariffs are a tax decrease. The money that's going to get collected on these tariffs is going to lower your and my taxes. This is a complicated moment, not for rookies to make comments on. We're going to come back after these commercial message and we're going to continue in this vein. Please stay tuned.
We're in a very holy time of the year. We think in terms of a deliverance.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time. This is the home of Galena. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
This Passover, if you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials and matzah for the Passover holy day. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
Please don't delay. Call, scan, or go online now.
Wow is on sale now at Cabinets to Go.
It's our buy one, get one free sale. Get your dream kitchen for as low as just $159 a month. Hurry, this buy one, get one free sale ends soon.
Cabinets to Go. Wow for less.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.
It's roughly 60 to 90 days for that person to even figure out that they're the victim of this crime. You start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
Unfortunately, it's on you to protect yourself. You might already be a victim. Check your title status now at HomeTitleLock.com.
Attention homeowners. Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your home worth less than you owe? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need to call this number right now.
Call 800-714-8615.
Welcome back this Saturday morning to the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice. We're so glad we're together with you today. This is a critical segment because we're going to talk about the great unmasking, because this trade policy really, it's about raising money for taxes so that we get our budget balanced, because this debt, this $37 trillion debt that we say they're kicking the can down the road, that's a cover story. These are the smartest people and most successful people in our society that have been running this clown show. They want us to think it's a clown show. It's not. It's a planned, organized collapse of the economy. We can't handle $37 trillion of debt, and the system is unraveling worldwide. President Trump in that chair, God bless him. Thank you, Father, for making me an American. Thank you, Father, for bringing me to this day, and thank you for granting me unalienable rights, my life, my liberty, and my pursuit of happiness. Thank you. Thank you. And thank God that President Trump is trying to deal us in this game. Because had we had that other group that the Minnesota GOP actually paid to promote, that'd be Harris Waltz. Yes, the Republican Party of Minnesota paid to promote the Democrat outcome. You think we got a little work to do? That's why this is such an important segment, the great unmasking. How are we going to fix the country? Well, it's natural, number one, to have a normalcy bias and think things aren't that bad. And I'm going to tell you, put that down and put on your, this is serious business hat. Yes, that's right. And please, we can't just leave it all on President Trump. He puts his pants legs on the same way you and I do. He needs you and I to get into the political process. You know, I listen to all the gnashing of teeth. President Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham in his senatorial run in South Carolina. Who else is he going to endorse? There is no one else. You know, we see him palling around with Tom Emmer, who's a globalist extraordinaire. Now, maybe Tom's going to have a change of heart, just like I did. I voted for George Bush, and raise your hand in your house if you did too. We didn't know. We didn't know we were getting conned, but the con is over. The great unmasking is here. Tom Emmer, one of many Republican mega hat wearing globalists, maybe they will have a redemptive experience. Let us not be too judgmental, because as President Trump's agenda gains power, more and more of these people are going to come over and say they're with this agenda. We just have the shock this week, the shock. And what is the shock? President Trump is taking apart the New World Order. It stands on one world economy. That is its cornerstone, that the wealth will be shared throughout the world. Worldwide government, worldwide economy, worldwide communism, where you and I, the citizens, have no rights, have no border, have no money, but we'll be happy about it. Yes, that's what they've been telling us. I'm going to own nothing and I'm going to be happy. You know what? These people are so vile. Not only do they want to take my material life away from me, but they don't believe in God. They won't even offer me a spiritual life. These people are tyrants. Man, you think back to the kings and queens of Europe that ruled in association with the church. At least we believed in heaven. We believed in God. But this current zeitgeist, this current culture we're living in, denies the existence of God, denies a search for truth, denies a spiritual life, and focuses everything on the material. Please, let's listen together to clip number 2, my favorite Senator Amy Klobuchar from here in Minnesota. Mr. Producer, could you please play it?
Tariff tax. It is $4,000 tax for every family in America. $20,000 increase for a home, increase for cars, increase for groceries. We've got chaos going up, prices going up, but stock market going down, and yes, savings going down for average Americans. So whatever he says that he wants to negotiate, we got a win last night in the U.S. Senate. 4 Republicans were willing to stand up to him, but only 4 when behind closed doors they keep saying to the Democrats, you know, we agree with you. These tariffs are bad. We believe in capitalism, but they're not standing up to him. So we've got to do something in Congress to stand up to him, and the Republicans are in charge. They've got to do this. They've got to listen to their constituents right now. But I cannot tell you how chaotic this is in a market that was going well when people were starting to invest again. And they were
so guess what? A market that was going well. A market that was going well. There's so much lying in that short. Let's start with the first one. Prices are going up and savings are going down. Well, first of all, most Americans, like yours truly, we don't have any savings. We're depleted. After 4 years of Bidenomics, since about 2000 and Bush, unless you're in that top group, that top 10%, you've been wiped out. I'm wiped out. You're wiped out. So when she talks about savings going down, hey, I just want to make next month's bill. Okay. Now, she's making a bunch of predictions about what's going to happen in the economy. How is she qualified? She's been in government her entire life. Somebody told her she could have said prices are going to go up $10,000 per household. Nobody knows what the outcome is here in terms of the cost of hard goods. But I'm going to tell you something. When I was young, we didn't go down to Walmart and Costco on the weekends and spend money. We took a drive in the country. We're too material. The things that matter, food and fuel, the things we spend money on every week, those prices are coming down. Our taxes are coming down. I don't have to buy the margarita ice maker at Costco this weekend. Don't have to do that. Built by a Chinese company, manufacturing in Cambodia to avoid tariffs, shipped here on a Chinese boat, and financialized through the banking system, financing it so I can buy it and then never use it again. Buy it one time, use it once, put it in a cabinet. No, we don't have to live like that. We can go outside, be in nature. There's more to life than materialism. We need to rediscover that, and President Trump has given us that option. What is more important, the price of some goods at Walmart or the freedom of our children? Because this system of materialism is enslaving us. And did you hear how she had 4 Republicans that have voted with her to undo the president's trade authority? Well, let's just see how bad this is. Let's listen to clip number 3.
In the wake of President Trump's sweeping tariff announcement, an Iowa senator is now introducing legislation which would give Congress more authority to approve them. Senators Chuck Grassley and Maria Cantwell announced the bipartisan bill today. It would require the president to notify Congress of any tariff increases within 48 hours and include an explanation. The bill says Congress would have to pass a joint resolution of approval for the new tariff within 60 days. It also gives Congress the ability to end tariffs by passing a resolution of disapproval.
That was a short time ago on air.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. This guy, Grassley, rode into town with Ronald Reagan in 1981. He's from Iowa, an ag export state. He's been in the Senate for 8 terms, and he is opposed to Donald Trump. He always was. But see, now Donald Trump is tipping over his dog bowl. And that's happening throughout the country. What happened to love your neighbor as you want to be loved, Senator Grassley? Iowans, could you please enter the Republican Party of Iowa and turf this fossil out? And his little sister, Joni Ernst. These people are not down with the Trump movement. And we're going to see it now. We're going to see Republicans throughout the Congress from throughout this country unite with the Democrats to attempt to remove this trade authority from the president, because actually trade authority is vested in the House of Representatives, the purse, but because they were lazy, they vested that authority to the president over decades of legislation. And now they want the authority back. Why? Because they want one world economy. The people that they work for and represent, that's not you and me. The oligarchs that pay their bills, that put money into their campaign finance reports, they want one world economy because they intend to rule the world with one world government, which is already established. It's already established through central banks in the United Nations. And what happened this past week? Did you notice President Trump go after Jerome Powell, demanding that he would lower the interest rates, that the Fed was working against the Trump agenda? Because, of course, yes, they are. Because all those boats you saw digitally sailing around this world, they're all on the payroll of the banks. That's what banks do. They fund timing distances, timing gaps between when a boat sails and when a boat docks. That's what they do. That's one of their core functions. So you see, we got the senators showing up and telling us that the sky is falling, that savings that I don't have are being depleted, that stocks that I don't own are going down. And here we sit on Main Street. I'm trying to run a business, TireGet.com. It's on life support. It needs your support. You know, you can buy tires from anybody. Please buy them at TireGet because you're supporting Free People Radio. But beyond that, the business can't work. It can't work like this. It can't work when our borders are open. The borders have not just been open to illegal immigration, which is staggering. It's been open to trade for decades, and that's hollowed out not just these factories and all these workers who lost their jobs, but the supply chains. The supply chains are just about broke. It's called price suppression. When there's too much product, when we're swamped with dumping from foreign countries, the price is too low. And what are these tariffs really going to do? They're going to create prosperity, not just for each individual citizen who's what they call disparagingly a consumer, because we're children of God. I'm not a consumer. They can take that one and stuff it. But it'll make each of our lives better. But the companies where we buy things, they're going to be able to make a little money. And I'm not talking about Walmart and Costco. I'm talking about the small business person who you need to find and support in your backyard, because that person is just like you, scratching every day just to survive. That's what they're doing. Let's find them and let's support them and support these advertisers. Please stay tuned.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 what?
The 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54 and was a smoker, but quit. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65, retired, and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80 and I'm on a fixed income. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. You cannot be turned down because of your health. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. Options start at $9.95 a month. Plus, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction to your loved ones with your final wishes. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-538-4499 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-538-4499. There's no risk or obligation. That's 1-800-538-4499. Call now.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now and get this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. This book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And if you call right now, as a bonus, we'll throw in a free annuity rate report. We've researched over 1,200 annuities summarizing the rates and benefits for you. So don't miss out on this opportunity because supplies are limited. Call now and find out how you can get up to 33% more income in your retirement, and you'll receive Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report as an added bonus. Both books are yours free, just for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-899-6246. That's 800-899-6246. Again, 800-899-6246.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show this Saturday morning here on Real America's Voice. David Penn, your guest host. Glad to be with you for this final segment. Let's summarize an idea. We're living in the post-World War II Democrat liberal order. It has a business model. That business model goes back into the colonial period. I would call this a neo-colonialism. We're living in a business model of debt slavery, drugs, and piracy. The endless war. Let's look at what President Trump is doing. Debt slavery, Doge, tariffs, budget cutting. The president is in the process of balancing the budget, lest we lose our economy and become even further enslaved to international finance. No, President Trump is dealing the American people back into the game. This whole thing, tariffs, Doge, budget cutting, this is about balancing the budget and ending what's called modern monetary theory, also known as how to enslave everybody on the planet. Drugs. Hey, RFK Jr., about restoring well-being to the American people, not health care, well-being. Two completely different ideas. Go out and take a walk today. Get in the sun. It's springtime. You know, patience. Sometimes all you got to do is take a walk in the sun and take a little bit of a break, and whatever's ailing you could go as quick as it came. Let us be well as the American people. And then finally, this endless war, Well, that's a big part of borrowed money, isn't it? Look at all the money that disappeared down the rabbit hole of the Ukraine just so far. President Trump has taken apart the New World Order. He's taken it apart systematically. And, when they talk about chaos, yeah, it's chaos for them. They're Democrat liberal order. Let me say it again. They're, if you're a Republican, supporting the Democrat liberal order. There's so many of these here in Minnesota. Like, all over this country where you live. Yeah, like Grassley, like Wicker, like Cornyn. We could go on and on. I mean, I think we'd have a hard time finding any Republicans in our Congress because they're all on the payroll. Well, not every one of them. That'd be a cognitive distortion. And wouldn't it be great if we could get a young, authentic, and fearless voice like Royce White into the U.S. Senate where we could further advance this effort to restore republicanism in the United States of America, the Republic of the United States of America. Yes, we need to do that. We need to be in our parties. We need to go to precinctstrategy.com. That's precinctstrategy.com, where you can go to learn how to get into the game of the politics in your backyard. Get off that couch, get in the game. President Trump needs us to have his back. It's not just loving him or loving his agenda. That's not going to get it done. This is only going to work if 200,000 patriots that love God, love country, flow into the Republican Party and turf these globalists out. Or, I'm not even going to go to or. Let's just focus on the progress that's being made today. There's no chaos. It's only chaos if you don't understand it or if you're losing your dog bowl. Yes, President Trump is changing the order. He's not ending globalized trade. He's asserting our right, your right, my right to get some of the benefits thereof. There's more benefits than just going on down to Walmart and buying an $11 hammer. No, there's more benefits. Now, our budget will be blessed by the tariff income that's going to pour into the coffers of the United States General Fund. Now, all these alleged, let's reciprocal this, that, thus, and so. What we got to sell is what we need to sell. Oil, liquid natural gas, high-end services, software services, and then military hardware. That's the business of the United States. And these countries have been blocked from buying those products from us, many of them. Now, and you know who blocked these countries from getting that? Our leadership did. We've got black gold in the ground. We got gas in the ground. We got liquid natural gas that we can deliver to the world, further balancing our budget. Okay, these are things we got to get right. Vietnam, for example, 46%. No, 46%. Well, they're going to negotiate for a better deal. Instead of buying their oil from Iran or from Russia, they're going to buy it from the United States. They only buy about $20 billion a year of oil, and they have $120 billion trade surplus with the United States. So it's not going to get them to zero, but show us a little bit of goodwill, a little bit of back and forth. Don't just take and never give. It's got to be reciprocal. Take as much as you can. And then you'll go from 46 to 25. No, we're going to collect this money. This country imports about $4 trillion of goods every year. That's how bad this has gotten. $4 trillion. You tax it at a 25% net rate, that's $1 trillion a year. You get some DOGE efficiencies and some budget cuts, and guess what? We're out of the borrowing money business. We're into the balanced budget business. And then you start bringing these companies back into the United States, as President Trump is predicting. And boy, this business is going back to Main Street. And you Wall Streeters in New York City, you can go all bite a hog in the ass, because President Trump is for the entire country, not just for you people. You know, they used to call Franklin Delano Roosevelt a class traitor because he represented the interests of the common man and eschewed the interests of Wall Street. Well, hey, you know, I'm not saying that Roosevelt and Trump are the same guy, but it is kind of the same thing, right? President Trump cares Of course, they like to characterize him as a man who doesn't care. But let's see what the Russian diplomat who is negotiating peace thinks about President Trump to end this final segment. Could we please play number 4?
It was a short time ago on Air Force One, President Trump saying he believes Russian leader Vladimir Putin wants to reach a deal to stop the war in Ukraine. He also said he believes the Ukrainian president is there too, wants a deal soon. The administration is making another push to end the conflict right now. The president's special envoy is talking with Russian negotiator Kirill Dmitriev, who joins us now live on set. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
How do you characterize the talks right now and how they're going?
I think President Trump administration has made tremendous progress. There was no dialogue with Russia in Biden administration for the last 3 years. There was no trying to understand Russian position. There was no really solutions that could have been successful. And what President Trump team has done, they understood what the solution space may be, and they achieved the first de-escalation ever in the conflict, which is stopping hits on energy infrastructure between Russia and Ukraine. So we are having good discussions. Our diplomatic people are also discussing possible outcomes, but there is no question that President Trump team not only stopped World War III from happening, but also had already achieved sizable progress on Ukraine resolution.
After that resolution, though, of the energy infrastructure, there were attacks by the Russians on the Ukrainians' energy infrastructure.
But so there were, unfortunately, attacks by Ukrainian on lots of Russian infrastructure, which are not too much reported in the press, and that, of course, has to stop. And I think energy infrastructure ceasefire has to hold.
Did you hear what that Russian diplomat said in that clip? President Trump prevented World War III. I want to say it one more time and praise God and thank God that President Trump, from the street corner of the Russians, prevented World War III. My heart, I can feel that through my whole body, that my life was dependent. My future life, my physical life could have been ended with the election of Harris Waltz, which again, my Republican Party here in Minnesota put a dude on the payroll named Michael Broadcorp who came out for Harris Waltz while trashing Royce White. Yes, it's that bad. But President Trump prevented World War III. Is he going to get a Nobel Prize for this? I doubt it, because the same people that pass out those prizes lend us the money to go broke with. Yes, they're drowning us in fiat currency. President Trump, across the entire range of the New World Order, is wrecking these people's plans. He's wrecking them. And now comes the pushback where you're going to start to see the unmasking of the rhinos who are going to rise up, side with the Democrats. And it doesn't really matter, Democrat and Republican. That's a scam designation. Are you a American citizen who wants this to be a sovereign republic, or are you a globalist that wants one world government, one world economy, one world currency? That's the battle. That's the battle line that's been drawn. And President Trump is very clear about it, and he's very systematically going about wrecking their plans, wrecking them. So I sit here this morning on this Saturday morning. It's lovely. I'm going to spend time outside today for sure. I'm not living in a post-nuclear apocalyptic holocaust, at least not today. President Trump has stopped that from happening. Now, it's not just the pushback on this trade issue you're going to see. You're going to see the pushback on the Ukraine issue. You're going to see a rising group of Republican so-called senators and congresspeople that are going to do everything they can to circumvent this administration's goal. And what is that goal? Peace and prosperity for the American people. Yes, that's the president's goal. He's not a politician. He's not a PhD from Columbia University. This man's been in the ring his entire life, and he knows in his soul, in his heart, that people just want to have a peaceful and prosperous life, at least a shot at it. And we had lost that shot. We had lost our ability to create a good life for our families and to have our children have better lives than we had. And President Trump is all about standing up in the middle of this and changing that to the best of his ability. But again, he needs you and me, we the people, to do what the framers gave us. self-govern. Get into your Republican Party, become an officer. You don't tell them that you're ultra mega. You just show up and say, I want to elect Republicans, and when the votes come, vote for the American nationalists. Thanks very much. Here comes Steve Bannon.
When a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name, it's a race against time to stop the theft of your hard-earned equity.
Many people don't know this has happened until long after it's done.
You as the homeowner think you still own a house. 3 months later, you start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim at HomeTitleLock.com.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere to fix that? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast, so strong, and so convenient. It's like putting the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires of your car on a single charge, or inflate a bag full of soccer balls at practice. Bullseye Pro is so advanced, it has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Plus, it can be 100% hands-free. You simply set the target pressure and walk away, keeping you out of harm's way. Bullseye Pro is lightweight, durable, and powerful enough to inflate this massive monster truck tire. Plus, it has 4 ultra-bright LED lights to safely inflate at night. Bullseye Pro comes with 3 custom air nozzles on board, so you can easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Forget driving to the gas station. Bullseye Pro is your anywhere, anytime inflation station. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system, all for the factory direct price of just $79.99. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. But to really inflate this offer, we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. You get it all. An incredible value for one low price. Call or go online to order now.
To order, call 1-800-976-9718 or go to getbullseyepro.com.